The other day I found part of this Supernatural's Tomb of Doom playset at a garage sale for only $2. And when I was 6, I had this exact set, and I know for a fact that it is still in the attic of my childhood home. So earlier today I dug through that attic and grabbed a couple toys that I've been meaning to look for so I can get them cleaned up and have them displayed here in my house. So the main thing I wanted to find is this Tomb of Doom playset that I had from when I was a kid. This is the one that came from the garage sale yesterday, but I was able to find my original set from when I was 6 years old, 39 years ago. It's got plenty of dirt on the top of it, but it does have the skull. There's a button you'd push in here and you'd have a battery, and there's a light that would shine down on this casket here. Inside the casket, you can see it's got this hologram, and then the trap doors underneath are still there. I couldn't find the figures, but I know they're there. And I did also have the Ghost Chaser car, but I have to dig that up. I haven't been able to find that or any of the figures yet, but I do remember seeing them within the past 10 years or so. So I'm going to do a little more searching and see if I can find them, but I can't wait to get this thing cleaned up and displayed. I'm probably going to have to take a trip to IKEA or somewhere soon so I can get some more display cases. But when's the last time you saw two of these pieces together anywhere? Pretty crazy. Another toy that I found is Robbie Jr. Now, is it Robbie Jr. or is it Roby Jr.? Someone told me it was Roby, but I always called it Robbie. And this thing was one of my favorite toys when I was a kid. I have the remote upstairs, and you could actually use the remote to make him go left, right, back, forward. But the remote you could also set to follow. And if you had the remote on you, he would follow that remote. He also had this little bumper here. When he would bump into stuff, he knew that something was there, and he would back up and go a different way. But unfortunately, I left the batteries inside of this, and the corrosion's pretty bad. I tried cleaning it up a little bit with baking soda, but I think I've got to take them apart and probably do a little bit of a deeper clean and hope that, well, I can get him working again, because this thing is awesome. I was a big Thundercats kid growing up, so obviously I had to have the Thunder Tank, and for whatever reason, I took everything apart when I was younger. You can see this thing is attic fresh. It's even got some timeout stickers or tickets buried in here from the arcade. So I've got to do some more digging to see if I can find the rest of that. We've got Lion-O here in pretty good condition. I know I've still got the little ring that you used to put on your finger, and you put a AAA battery in there, and then when you made the connection inside here, that would light up his eyes if I remember correctly. But we got Lion-O. Still got to do some digging for the other guys, but I did find the sword, and I didn't keep batteries in this. It doesn't have the base, but the base is actually upstairs in my computer room. Look at that thing. This thing was a lot bigger to me when I was a kid, but this is that, you'd put it up to your eyes and you'd push this little button and this would light up. Probably one of my top 5 favorite toys ever growing up was this sword. This was a huge deal when this piece here came out, and I know it's well, it's actually not too bad. I do remember this kind of like folding in half for me beating stuff up with it as a kid, but really happy that I still have this thing right here. I just got to go upstairs and dig around for that end cap. Mask was also a big deal back in the day when I was a kid, and this, just like the Thundercats toy over here, it's missing a whole bunch of parts, and I'm sure they're somewhere that I can get to. I just need to do some digging and find it, but I can't think of the name of this truck. There was a missile, I want to say, like inside here, that you'd spin this guy around, and then this would open up, and yeah, the missile would shoot out of there. Mask sticker still intact, and then it had buttons on the back. The one button I think did the front there, and then this one did the ejecto seat. 2 more Mask cars in here to take a look at. This one I don't remember the name of either, but I do remember that it turned from like a little dune buggy car into a plane, and just by doing that right there, really cool piece. No surprise, the Corvette is missing a door, but I think the rest of it's complete other than the figure. I don't think this came with anything else. This button here, what I thought it did is when you push it, the doors would fold down. So I don't know if it needs both doors to do that or if it's just broken, but that's how that would go. And the wheels, they fold over in the front. There's a little button right here, and when you push that, it spins the front around, and then on the back, if you push the license plate, that pops up right there. Pretty cool piece. And then just a couple, there's a mask in here for a Mask figure, and I think this is from Boulder Hill. Found the manual for Chase HQ that I can now put with the game in the box and mark that as CIB in my collection, as well as where in the world is Carmen Sandiego for my Commodore 64. I've got the original box, the original disc for this, so I'm glad I can add the manual now to the collection. As I'm going down memory lane here, I got a cha-ching, and it's something that's been sitting for well over a year in my shop. About a year and a half ago, I picked up a ton of neon signs, glasses, and new old stock bar-related items out of a restaurant that was closing. And this is the last item I have that I'm going to part with. I'm going to keep Louis the Lizard up there, and I'm also going to keep this new old stock Red Bull cooler from 2012. That one's staying with me. But the Magic Hat sign's been listed for well over a year, and I had it on sale for 30% off, and I finally sold it for $125.99 plus shipping. Also sold the video game, well, one of the video games that was in the previous video. This is Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure for the GameCube. Really good condition, totally complete, and it went for $49.99 plus shipping. Apparently these do sell pretty quick still. This is the TI-84 Plus calculator. I listed this just under 40 bucks, and someone sent me an offer that I accepted for $36 plus shipping. In my last video, I talked about this boombox briefly that I picked up at a church sale. It's a rising boombox, very heavy. And on the front, it says 2020. And I did a little more research because I needed to know what that meant. And apparently this is a very highly sought after boombox. People really, really want this piece. And that 2020 is the diameter of the speakers in centimeters, which I thought was interesting. So they're 20 centimeter diameter, just under 8 inches, which makes sense. They look like they're about 8-inch in diameter. And I did get this to work. It'll play FM radio as good as it can without an antenna, and the tape player still works. It was really slow to begin with, but after going forward and reverse a few times, it started to get back into its normal speed. So the tape player kind of works, FM kind of works. The light meter here, that actually still works, but the light on the top right over here, this does not work. So obviously still listing this for parts are not working, but these things sell for some crazy money. The highest price that an as-is version of this sold for is $412.77, and that's with 24 bids on it. The highest price one of these sold for, in near perfect condition, no corrosion or rust or dings or dents, it went for $1,499.99. Absolutely insane. So yeah, like I said, highly sought after boombox. Definitely has value in just parts alone. I don't know if people are using it for the knobs, for the internal workings, or if they're just displaying something like this. But really, really cool find for only 20 bucks. I'm going to get it cleaned up a little bit more, and then we're going to list it for maybe around 300 and see if I get any offers. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.